Alright, hello. It is time for more human drafting of Outlaws of Thunder Junction. You may have seen the last one. I had that Outlaw deck. It got 5 wins, which I feel like it was a 7-win deck, but I had a couple of games where I stalled out at the end by drawing just land after land after land. They were really good matches, though, still. I didn't record those with sound because it was in the middle of the night. So the way it works is generally speaking, if it's the middle of the night, I don't want to wake anybody up or do anything too loud, so I don't turn on the sound. But when you get me during the day, like today, you should get my stupid voice. Hey. All right, I'm not a big fan of Satoru. I'm sure you could make it work, but it feels like a card that you shouldn't be starting your build with. Probably the best card in the pack here, Slickshot Lockpicker, followed by Lone Shark. Prickly Pear is good in certain things. In my deck last night, Prickly Pear would have been amazing. I don't know why I didn't get any. Congregation Griff is like one of the premium mounts. And here, I actually think that's where I'm going to go. Because one of my rules for green, one of my rules for OTJ is try to draft green. And green-white is one of the big, green-white mounts is one of the big things you can be doing that seems to just always win. And immediately I'm sad that I didn't take Lockpicker because Nimble Brigand would be a great second pick. I still actually think it might be the best thing here. No, it's Lone Shark. Or Nimble Brigand, rather. So for me, though, golly, I'm going to take the Nimble Brigand. I don't know that we're going to end up playing it. We're not committed to this green-white thing just because we picked one card. It just makes me sad because I would have taken a blue card first. Fort Razor, I don't even know what that does. Or Port Razor. Oh, extra combat. Yeah, they always have a creature that does that. I think Clear Shot is my clear pick. I would like to take Creosote Heath, but Clear Shot is just so good. It's a premium uncommon. High enough to take over that, even though, your mana is everything. Oh, this is great. Outcaster Greenblade. Okay, so now is the point where I'm really going, okay, I want to be green. For sure. And it could be green X, so there still could be a place for the Brigand here. We're not sure whether we're going to be green blue, for instance, or green white. We can do either, actually. Green is one of those colors too, especially in this block, where you can do anything. Like you can do 4 or 5 colors. What does this do? Whenever you cast a spell that's one or more colors, you may gain 1 life. And it's a mana rock. I actually think that's good here. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and take Ancient Cornucopia. I've never played that. Seems like it would be pretty good. It's artifacts, which, I've gone on quite a bit about how enchantments are a little more resilient this format. Artifacts aren't because of explosive derailment. So, you have to take a card like that and have this caveat of, well, it may not do very much for me. Not excited about this pick, but as I was saying before, even though it was great, it's great at a mercenary deck, the Free Starter Commando, but in most other decks it just doesn't really function like it should anymore. It was a great card at the beginning of the format. Bar the Bighorn's not a good card, but it is the kind of thing that mount decks like. And it's kind of crazy that mounts can mount each other, and that just creates a very disturbing mental image. But nonetheless, it's a thing you can do in a game of Magic to good advantage. I mean, this is feeling good so far. I haven't really determined what this deck is trying to do other than play creatures, but that's what you're trying to do most of the time in limited, so play creatures and be ahead on lands. Seems like a good plan. Okay, so for lack of anything decent really to pick here, I'm going to go ahead and take this Lush Oasis. We may not even end up running our green, or blue rather, but we have access to it. I think I'd rather take the Failed Forwarding here as a spell rather than the Shackle Slinger. It's one where I could regret that later, but we'll go there. This is, this is a better like turn 5 play than a turn 2 play. Oh boy, nice Loan Shark, late Loan Shark. So we are trying to do something. And at this point I would say we're more green-blue, maybe splashing the Griff and the Bighorn. But this could all change depending on what the cards bring us. These packs, these matchable packs. Nothing I'm excited about. Oasis Gardener's fine, I guess. And, given the choice between the Gardener and the Pan, I think the Pan is just like, the Gardener is just like a tiny bit better. Although I had that one game, or that one deck where Pan was actually pretty doggone good. Basically what Pan, I think, allows you to do is it allows you to get that one turn mana advantage to cast something a turn early, and then it just improves one of your game pieces. And that improvement, +1/+1, not major, but it matters. And this is a format, I think, where +1/+1 is actually pretty big. You've got a lot of creatures that are similarly statted, and a lot of things that, like, they go from trading to not trading if they're just slightly bigger. Not excited about the Rope Master. It's going to be a thing that I look to cut, possibly, but we'll take another Failed Forwarding. Don't know that we want to run more than 2, and we might not even want to run 2, but we've got them. Yeah, we've got access to them should we need them. Now, pack 2, Dust Animus is just amazing. Very much a thing I want. This card is just, I don't recall a game that I've ever played this card and not won. And it's so great too, because if it's not going to get its counters, you just plot it most of the time. Okay, so Grip Pulse would be decent. One Last Job is pretty doggone good. One Last Job, and it doesn't even require a heavy white commitment. This is another instance too where I really want this Arroyo, but because One Last Job is such a good card, I mean, it's very easy to get the situation where you make it a 2-for-1, and every once in a while you've got some sort of situation where it's a 3-for-1. I don't think we're going to get there with this deck, but I'll take a 2-for-1 all day, especially in our current colors. Oh my god, Duelist of the Mind. Golly. This card, I slept on this. Was not excited about this when I played it in my earlier Outlaw deck, but it has proven to me that it just does a really good job doing all the things that it does. So now we're definitely going to be wanting to lean our deck a little bit more towards the crime pays kind of strategy. Trash the Town is just really good. So now I would say at this point we're kind of heavier into green and blue, and we're going to stop considering certainly cheap white cards that we want to cast early. We want all the white cards that we can cast late, because we're going to have access to it. You know, by let's say turn 4 or 5, theoretically, we're going to have access to our white mana if we have things go our way. So Sterling Supplier would be okay, but I do think Snakeskin Veil is just going to be that ever so much better. If we get a pack 3 Bonnie Paul or something ridiculous like that, we know we're going to want that to do some work for us. I don't like it, but I'm going to take Gold Rush right here. And another Loan Shark. Okay, yeah, this is shaping up. Heck, this might be a deck where the Peerless Rope Master actually does some interesting things. You know, when you're getting to use this ability and it's also committing a crime, and that matters for some for other cards in your deck, that could be the thing that makes this card stand out a little bit better. Trailbreak Scheme, Trained Earrings. Now remember what I said. This deck does not necessarily start its white early, so Trained Earrings is less good in this deck, even though it's an amazing card in normal decks. We're going to be more green-blue, I think, and because of that, Jailbreak Scheme is a much better card. We've got a lot of bounce. Like, this is going to be a tempo deck, definitely. Tempo deck that just draws more cards and fills out the board. I would like to get a Cactarantula or two, and what else? What else do I want on my Christmas list here? Take the Fall is fine, for sure. Getting to draw a card, sometimes completely dominate a combat, will definitely be very nice. Sandstorm Verge, not in this deck, although I am going to take it here just because it's an uncommon. And either Djinn of Fool's Fall or Sterling Hound. I think the Djinn is okay. It's a card I think you might want one of, but not really many more. Stop Cold, I'm not a big fan of Stop Cold. It's serviceable, and if we're low on playables, we'll be running it. Outcaster Trailblazer. We're not going to have a lot of 4 power. Harpersel Bandit seems really nice, though. Frontier Seeker, nope, we're not taking early. This is nice because it gets us a Mount our planes, but we're not going to be likely to hit with it, I don't think, the way this deck is currently configured. So it's either Paladin or Bandit, and I think Bandit is just intense, especially if we do get to do our thing here and go heavy crimes. So one of the things that's going to help us is having a lot of cards that both commit a crime and draw us a card, and Repulse does that. Field Fording may not get us a card, but if we have a desert, it'll get us a Surveil, which could be helpful here. So I think I'm going to take out Gold Rush for sure. We're looking to target their guys more than we target ours. I like Primal Might. I really like Primal Might. I also like Lasso by the Law here. Lasso by the Law is nice because it is one of those things that's going to hit, you know, later. But I do think Primal Might is just so much better. Is this a deck that runs Fibblethip? It might be. I'm going to go ahead and run him just because he's my guy. We can't really do Lazov though. Wish we could. Dance of the Tumbleweed seems fine. So I think I am gonna lower down my white. Like I'm not even gonna go mounts with this. Dust Animus, you know, a 4/5 lifelink flyer. That's something that's balmy, you know. balmy enough to justify the splash. But I don't think Congregation Griff, without a bevy of mount support, having a Miriam, you know, an Etten Duke, I think that's his name. He's the wily guy that he's 14 vigilance, but he draws you a card and gains your life anytime he taps. So anytime he saddles is the joke there. He gives you a bonus. You know, if I had things like that, we would be looking to go more mount focus, but that's not what's going on here, I don't think. Loot's the key to everything. I actually like that, but it's in awkward colors. It wouldn't work for me. Phantom Interference, I don't know if we want to play, but we're gonna take it right now. It does allow us to commit a crime, but it's weird and awkward the way that it works. Geyser Drake, I guess. This card should have been much better than it actually is, and it just turned out for whatever reason it's not. Counterspell, this is great. We're not probably going to get to cast it on 2, but you know, getting to do it and draw a card, fantastic. So we've got a lot of things that we cast and draw cards. Like that's basically what this deck is going to end up doing. It's going to be I do a minor thing and I draw a card, and that just makes me able to do more things. So I do think Stop Cold's probably out. Let's see here. We got 48 cards, so we really want to focus on cards that draw us cards. We can, so I don't think Phantom Interference is making this cut. And weirdly enough, we have some other things that do what Field Fording does, and since we don't get the desert benefit, I think that does make it bad enough to not warrant inclusion. Same with Stop Cold. Well, I love you, Fibblethip. And, you know, the Outcaster Greenblade doesn't actually do as good a job for us. Like, he's only ever going to be a 2/3, but he does get us a land, and that does matter. You know what? That does make me want to put this Verge back in. If he becomes a 3/4, is that worth it? Maybe we just run 18 lands. 17 lands. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know that. I think I had misread what Sandstorm Verge was. I thought it made one of your guys unblockable, but no, it just takes one of their blockers out of the equation. That's significantly less good than making one of your guys unblockable, and I just did not realize that back when I was considering this card as something. Let's take the Jin out. So I'm putting in Verge basically to make the Green Blade an actual card, because just getting another land might not be enough, but getting another land and possibly being a 3/4 is something. Fibblethip may need to go. Geyser Drake probably. I don't know how this works with Spree, actually. We're gonna try it because I've never actually, I don't think I've had the occasion to cast a Spree spell with the Geyser Drake. I mean, really, I only have one Spree spell that would work anyway. So that being the case, I think Geyser Drake goes out. That means our deck is very low on creatures, though. Yeesh. Makes things a little tricky, doesn't it? We draw a lot of cards, though. We're putting that back in for the defense. Same with Congregation Griff, I think. They got big backsides. I mean, we've got no shortage of creatures that have 4 toughness, but having a few more, especially because I do think early game we are taking some hits, but we're probably looking to cycle take the fall. Do we have many bandits? I mean outcasts. No, not outcasts. Outlaws. Yeah, we do have a fair amount of outlaws. Oh, I didn't realize the Lunch Rope Scout is outlaws. That's pretty cool. Man, this is tough. One of our problems is that Primal Might really needs, and Trash the Town really needs an aggressive build. I think Trash the Town should go. Primal Might, you can take a weenie and make it do its job, kill something. But Trash the Town, you really need to be consistent on the board. The counters are really good here, but I just don't know if it's going to happen frequently enough. Gardener. Cornucopia, you seem good. This is hard. Making these last 3 cuts, it's really hard. Okay, so I really like Hindering Light for this deck, but the capability of getting to cast it, it's just too situational. It's too much like waiting for an eclipse. I've said this before, but the one time I'm willing to go up to 41 cards is when I have a fair amount of doubles or triples. I think the fact that I've got 4 Lawn Sharks and the extra guys here, I mean, it could be the correct thing to do here is to just look at my deck and go take an expensive or low impact card and cut that out. So if that being the case, I would probably say cut Peerless Roadmaster. Or go down to 3 Lawn Sharks, because what's the difference between 3 and 4? Your statistics of drawing a Lawn Shark don't get impacted that heavily by going down to 3. But it's not what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and run with this. Now the last question I have before I finalize it is, should I play the Sandstorm Verge? And maybe, you know what? That's the answer. Outcaster Greenblade's just gotta go. And then I get rid of the Verge, because the only reason it was in there was to try and increase my odds with the of getting a 3/4, which I have in abundance. I have tons of 3/4s, so I think we're good. We've got 8 islands. We've got 6 forests. I think we need to go up to 7 forests. I'm counting the Lush Oasis here. And I think I'm also going to get rid of the Griff and put in a Drake. What happened here? Oh, I guess it must have done some flipping around of lands for us. Not sure if my confidence is there for this one. We're going to see what it does. Fibblethip's probably a mistake. What am I going to call this? Because I've got some fight spells, or they're actually bite spells, I think, but, well, this is a fight spell, And this is a bite. Crimefighters. It's funny. I mean, this particular group is just as likely to be committing the crimes as fighting them. So we're going to go ahead and take a break, and we will get back in with the matches in just a moment.